In this video, we are going to demonstrate how we can use a two-dimensional array declaration and how we can actually manipulate the values in our, especially the part of displaying anyway. We want to display the elements of our two-dimensional array. So let's begin. So here is our C++ program, and we are going to declare a variable, our two-dimensional array. Just a bit of a description here. Our two-dimensional array is going to have maybe information, grades for 3 students. So it's going to store the array to store 6 grades for 3 students in our case. So 6 grades for 3 students. Each student will have 6 grades. So the declaration will be as follows. We can have all the grades as integers, and we want for 3 students the number of rows, but each row will have 6 grades, like that. So we have the first grades, the number of grades 6 for each student, for a total of 3 students. So this is a two-dimensional. We have declared a two-dimensional array, and now we can start assigning values. The assignment of values, as we saw before, you can initialize immediately here, or you can assign later after declaration. So maybe we are going to do the assignment later after declaration. You should remember that there are 2 indices here. We have index for the row and index for the columns. So to assign element on index on the first index, the first grade for the first student, then we need to have grades for the first student, the first grade. We want it to be maybe 56. So this is the first grade for the first student. And we can also have another one for the first student, but now this is a second grade. And sorry, here we wanted to say for the first grade, which is 0, and for the second grade will be 1. Yeah, so this one we can give it maybe 69. So here we have assigned the first grade here, the first grade for the first student, so row 0, column 0, and the second grade for the very same first student, row 0, column 2. So we are going up to the last column, which will be column number 5, from 0 up to 5. So we can continue writing for the first student, grades 0, 2, grades 0, 3, grades 0, 4, up to grades 0, 5. Then afterwards, we can now start for the second student, which will be grades on position 1, so that's the second row, and the first grade. So this is for the second student, which can be maybe 70. We have made an assumption that for the first student, this pattern continues up to where you have grades 0, grades 0, 5. So that's the end of the first one. So it will be grades 0, this part will be 0, 0, 0, 0. It's only this which will be changing 0, 1, 2, up to 5. For the second student it will be 1, and here will be changing 0, 1, 2, 3, up to 5. Then for the third student, the first column will be having 2, because that's the last. The maximum here is 3, the size is 3, so the maximum index is 2. Then it will also start from 0, 1, 2, 3 up to 5. So that's how we do the declaration, or we assign these things. Okay, but I would like just to have initialization and put all of them maybe in the declaration statement, and just to show how we can actually display the values. So let's just have something here for the demonstration here. So this is our outer array, and this outer array has got 2 arrays, three arrays inside of it. 3 arrays inside of it, and the last one is this array. So there are 3 arrays representing this number, 3 arrays. But each inner array, we have this array, this array, this array, 3 arrays, all of them inside this main array. This inner array will have 6 values, because this bracket is for student 1, student 2, student 3. So we'll have grades for the student 1, which might be 66, maybe 54, 82, 70, 90, and 12. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that's 6. And this one can also have maybe 65, 33, 33, then maybe 55, 64, 67, maybe 82. And the last one here can have 77, 84, 62, 92, 49, and 58. So we have now grades for all 3 students. So take note of this, and we are not indicating this. This is the last element here. Okay, so we can display this information. You can display this information one by one, or you can use a loop. Let's just try to display the second grade for the first student. So to display the second grade for the first student, then we need grades for the first student. First student is index 0, and the second grade is index the second grade is index 1. So the second grade for the first student, so index 0, because this is index 0, index 1, index 3. So second grade is index 1 for that one. So we want it to display 54. So let's try to compile this program and run. Sorry, we have an issue. Excellent function declaration is forbidden. Okay, we have an issue here. I don't know how did we come up with that small thing out there. Yeah, but this is our outcome. So it's showing 54. 54 as the second grade for the first student is able to show this. So you can try to change maybe how to display this one, the 5th grade for the third student, or how do we display the last grade for the second student, etc. You can try to change these values to display different values from here. For example, if I want to display the last grade for the last student is 3, and the last grade is only index number 5, so this should show 58. If I try to do this, sorry, what have I done? Okay, sorry, index the last student is student number 3, which is on index number 2, and we want a grade on the last index, which is index 5. So sorry, here I had put 3 instead of 2. So if you compile this one and learn, it will show you 58, which is this value here. Okay, so but in most cases, maybe instead of displaying our values like this, we may want to display them all. So we can use maybe a loop to do so. So we are going to change here and use a loop that should help us to display these values, all of them together. So let's change this and use a loop to do our good job. So what we're going to do is to have our 2 loops, because we have columns and rows. So have a loop that should help us move from one row to the next, and we'll have another loop to help us move from one column to the next. So int I is equal to, or we can have row equals 0, maybe okay, equals 0, and maybe this row should be less than 2, less than 3, and this row we should have it plus plus. Then inside this loop we can have another loop, and this one will be maybe columns, starting from column 1, and maybe this column should be less than, each column has got 6 elements, should be less than 6, and the column plus plus. So this one have that. So that's our structure. So what is happening is, when we are only, sorry, I wanted the rows to start from 0 zeros here. So when we have our row from 0 and our column 0, this one is representing the first value. So we can display that here. So inside here we can have cout. Maybe we just display grades on index row and the index column. So we have row and column here, and we just want to have a space like that. So it will be displaying the elements 66, 55, etc. up to the end. So when it's coming here with 0, then it will go through the column until it finishes for that column. When it's done, it's going to take row equals 1 and come here and display the second column. So we want, after displaying the first column, there should be a new line. So we can have our end L here for a new line. And if we need to have another information, we can also maybe have our information here, where we are going to say we can have maybe cout to display that this information is for student 1. So we can say maybe grades for student row plus 1. Yeah, maybe just to make it look a little bit good or beautiful, for student 1 like that. Yeah, so maybe here we can have something like this. So we start now displaying the values. Okay, maybe just put a comma here for the values. Okay, think of how this will be displayed, how these values will be displayed. But we are done with our program. Let's try to compile this program. We have an issue. What's the issue now? Can tell the issue immediately. Oh, sorry, the bracket, we don't have the bracket, closing bracket. Okay, so let's try to compile. We have another issue. What's the issue now? Call was not declared. This one here. Okay, now if we compile this one and run, this will be our output. Okay, so thank you. See you next video.